I've gotten into journaling again, like recently, and that's something I used to do earlier on, like I guess in my like I don't know, late teens, early 20s.
Yeah.
So a lot of my writing has that journalistic kind of style of just this is what I'm like a note to self, a diary of my thoughts. But I recognize a lot of themes that come out are like themes of growth, themes of like dreaming about where I want to be and working towards that.
Hmm.
The ups and downs of that, the moments of feeling elation of like, yes, we're gonna be there, and the moments of feeling grey and like we're not there yet, what are we gonna do? And I feel like those messages are kind of through my first EP, One Day I Will Fly, which talks about seeing where you want to be in life, but not quite being there yet. But understanding that you can still trust God, you can still experience freedom in that waiting process. Then my second EP, Ascension, which is deals with like now being on that journey of growth and experiencing the things you wanted to experience, but now feeling the turbulence of those moments and like, but again, still knowing that you can have faith in God through those times and that He will give you like what you need to get through it. So yeah, I'll say it always reflects my journey in the moment, and that's always going to be tied to like trusting in God and seeing Him. Even though my art isn't necessarily, I would say, overt Christian music, but
Yeah.
God is the center of my life, so that's always going to be in my music. And I believe if you look for it, you'll see it there. But yeah, themes of growth, themes of living as a young Christian in this crazy world. And yeah, just stuff that I've seen around community. I think as I've grown up, I understand the need for that more. So I'm seeing that come in my music a bit more, just appreciation for community. I did a song called Kinfolk, which just deals with that, about just being grateful for people around me and how they've helped form me as a man, as a creative, and just giving a lot of love for that.
Wow, that's so cool. And I can see the progression from your like first EP to second one is that you're growing like this and then you're growing like this and then
Yeah.
the next stage and the turbulence, but then seeing God through it all, which is
Mhm.
really like real in time in terms of our lives and our journey
Yeah.
with God as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I hope
Thank
that it's something that I'm sure that people can relate to and resonate with as they
you.
listen to your music. Um,
Yeah, that.
yeah, I remember, when I talked to you before, we talked a little bit about identity and faith and expressing that through creativity.
Yeah.
Um, and I know you said that you're also interested in other things like photography as well as making your music and writing words. So, yeah, is there anything you'd like to say about expressing identity and Christian faith through the arts and through creativity in your life?
Yeah, I feel like we live in such an interesting time right now with the growth of like social media, TikTok, and music where things are more accessible. And
Yeah.
back in the day, maybe there were only like, your main genres of music or your main YouTube and I don't know, Vimeo where you can post stuff. But now there's so many different branches that people can like tap into like really weird creative ideas and like use that as an expression of like of their life and of faith. Even looking at comedy, how you have TikTok accounts that, or even Instagram pages that just have like Christian banter, and like you would have
Yeah.
never seen that like 10 years ago. But now we can express our joy of like the silly things about being a Christian, and we can all relate with that. So I'm finding the importance of like being able to express ourselves in our unique ways through creativity. And I think yeah, these days have helped us to do that. We have more tools. Hence, I feel like it's important that we find in ourselves what message do we want to share that we resonate with about our lives, about our faith, and being bold to share that. But I feel like it's a good time right now because you have so many different ways of doing that. Even within music, we're seeing, especially within like the UK scene, a lot more artists come through that are Christians that are expressing the
Mm.
love of God in different genres, like in the lo-fi, in alternative R&B, in rap, and even yeah, so many different kind of sounds. And I'm grateful because growing up, there was still artists doing well, but there wasn't a huge variation of like the sound. There was just a couple of genres that people would stick to. But now seeing people able to embrace the different styles and speak about if it's want to speak about their upbringing in London or how much they love their home country and expressing that is beautiful because I feel God is full of creativity, right? God has so much. He has infinite creativity, infinite I don't know how to say it. Like he's just vast. So there's so much ways in which we can use what's around us to express that as well. So as long as we're wise about our decisions and we're being authentic, I think we can continue to show our identity through the music and even through other things. You said photography. And even photography, what I love about that is it's like you're capturing a beauty that's already there. Like I may not have made the sunrise, but I can capture it and present that to somebody and show people God's creativity. So there are moments everywhere that we can be inspired by, and it's just about tapping into that, and being willing to share.
So good. I love how you said like your music is not overtly Christian, or some, you know, the theme, you wouldn't call it like, actually, would you call yourself Christian artist?
I personally wouldn't. I'd call myself a
Yeah.
hip hop artist,
Hip-hop, yeah.
but who's part of the Christian community.
Okay. Sounds like you thought about that. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, in terms of like, you wouldn't say, oh, this is Christian music, or it's not overtly, but it's actually, you'll see the themes in there because that's part of you and that's your identity in Christ and God being the center. And so I guess in the ways that we have these different platforms, or the way that we do create things, that actually you should, or it would be good to see God in all of it, because that is part of who we are as God's people. And I sometimes I feel like I want to encourage people who they might not think that they are creative, but the fact that God is creative, he's creator, right? And he created us, imago Dei, in his image, which therefore means that we as human beings are creative, but it's just people express it in different ways. And I was thinking how, like, for example, when we need something fixing at home, like you can just go out and buy something to replace it. But I think maybe because we don't want to like spend money, or like we're stingy or whatever, or what's the word, frugal. So in my family, especially my dad, he doesn't do like visual arts or anything, but he would like find creative ways of trying to fix something rather than going out to buy something. So I feel like that's an example of creativity as well.
Wow. I guess one thing that's been on my mind this week is just about like, what does it mean to be successful? We live in a day and age where there's so much pressure to get likes, to get retweets, you know, to go viral. And in times we can lose our authenticity in chasing those things. And I felt God reminded me this week just the importance of like working on your hands and humbling your heart. And when I say that, I mean working on our gifts that God has given us, like stewarding what he's put in our hands. Some seasons that's going to mean doing it quietly and nobody seeing. Some seasons it's going to be more in the forefront, but just being willing to like be a steward of what God has given us. We see that theme throughout the Bible about God giving people kingdoms, or giving people children, or giving people, you know, a word, and he wants them to steward that and do the right thing with that. And secondly, having a humble heart, realizing that in order for us to sustain what God has given us, we need to have a heart that's submissive to him, that's willing to like obey him, that's willing to even give up the things that we feel he's given us at times, if it's for a season or whatnot, so that he can minister through that. Because at the end of the day, we're borrowing everything that we have, even our breath, even our time. None of it is ours. So it's important that we have a heart that we can lay those things down. And I'm working on those things because it's not easy, especially when it's like there's so much allure and appeal to like get attention in this world. And sometimes it's easy to know how to get attention. And it's then a question of like, am I doing this for the right reasons? But I feel like if we pursue having a heart that's humble, a heart like Jesus, he will be able to put us in positions that we can share our faith boldly, and we can see people's life impacted for Christ, and do it also in a way that we enjoy. Some seasons are definitely going to be harder, but there are times where we can really, you know, enjoy sharing our faith with our gifts and talents, or with whatever God has given us, and enjoy those moments too. So yeah, that's something I'll just, as an encouragement for a creative, or just anyone in general, like if God has put us on this earth for a reason, therefore there's something that we can do, even if it's just smiling to our neighbor. Like that's something that can go a long way. And then having a humble heart and seeking God every day, and he'll give us the strength for that. One of my favorite scriptures is in Philippians 4, where it says that he gives us the desire and power to do what pleases him. And that's something that's helped me on my journey as an artist, of knowing that my love for music and to create, it comes from God. So if I feel like I'm not able to do anything, I need to just speak to him for more grace, and he will give me that. And he has definitely, I've seen that, and I know that anything I've achieved in this life, because God has given me the grace to do that. So that's my encouragement for anyone listening.
Wow, that's beautiful. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And also just kind of how this kind of upside down kingdom of Christ and pursuing Christ and pursuing humility, actually, where people would be like, well, you know, that's not what the world thinks when you're thinking about success. So, yeah, I appreciate that sharing.